Welcome everyone. Welcome to today's class. Today we will discuss about factors influencing microbial growth. As we know that microorganisms will grow in their increase in population. In previous sections we learned about how a microbial growth occurs. And today we learn about how this particular microbial growth is influenced by some environmental factors. Environmental factors. As we know, there are many factors which influences on the growth. Either maybe extrinsic factors and intrinsic factors, or biological or abiological. Abiological may be environmental factors. So a lot more factors will influence on growth of the organism. Sometimes nutrients will influence and environmental factors influence, and change in metabolism will influence. So there are a lot more factors can be considered with respect to the growth of a microorganism. But the growth of microorganism is greatly affected by the physical conditions of the environment. So if you understand the environmental influences on microorganisms, it will tells us about its distribution. It tells about its distribution. So we know well that microorganisms are distributed across globe under different conditions. These conditions, environmental conditions. These different conditions are different environmental conditions. We all know that when you look up a globe, these are the two poles. This is North Pole and South Pole. And this is the equator. Tropic of Cancer, Tropic of Capricorn. And this is another line, 6600 degrees. This is like this. And these are the latitudes, and you have longitudes, whatever it may be. And according to these latitudes, we'll come across the environment. We have a different kind of environment ranges we can observe. This is a completely pole region, is a tundra region. When come closer to the equator, and we experience hot environments. And when you go again back to the South Pole, you will experience cold environments. And within the surface of the globe, we experience different kind of temperature ranges. We can experience from 50 degrees centigrade to almost all minus 50, where in poles, you get the different temperature ranges. At the same time, the whole globe is not occupied with only land. You all know that only 30%, the rest 70% is occupied by water. When you see water, the surface environment is completely different from the environment which is on deeper parts of the sea and oceans. The environment, the passage of light will be limited. Oxygen concentration varies from surface to the when you go deep. Above all, atmospheric pressure when you go deep into the sea waters, it increases. Means when you look at the globe and its conditions, different environmental conditions prevailed on surface of the globe and beneath of the globe, and on surface of the waters and beneath of the waters, and mountain tops, mountain bottoms. So we can experience different kind of environmental factors. Being a human beings, it is very hard for us to live in such extreme conditions, but in such extreme conditions, we expect life and we found life. Yes, we didn't expect, we found life. So much life in these extreme conditions. Much life in these extreme conditions. One of the greatest stability of the organism on globe is adaptability. Adaptability. The organisms which are evolved on the globe are adapted to the conditions prevailed in that particular area. Maybe particular ecosystem, a particular community, maybe a particular region where it present. The organisms which lives in that particular region are adapted to the conditions occurred over there. Hence, which will give us a remarkable idea and wonderful knowledge on studying organisms. For example, if you notify this particular area, the organisms which lives in this particular region has different kind of adaptabilities. They have different kind of adaptability, metabolism, and everything, and habits are different from the organisms which are living near to the equator. So we can see differences among the organisms which are living close to the poles and near the equatorial regions. Their adaptations are different, metabolism is different, habitation is different, food and nutrition is different, everything is different. It is not only specific to the macroorganisms what we see on the globe, but this applies for microorganisms also. Rather than multicellular and huge organisms, microorganisms do suffer a lot because their occurrence and their distribution is more common when compared to the rest of the organisms on the globe. Maybe trench region, almost the deepest point of the ocean, we call it as a trench. The trench region, enormous amount of atmospheric pressure and temperature, where you will find microorganisms. You not even find any aquatic life, other aquatic life in these deep oceans, but you can find microorganisms. Deep snow burrows, you can find the microorganisms. Means whether they may be in a dormant stage, whether they may be vegetative form or active form, but you can observe the presence of microorganisms in these varied climatic regions. These conditions tells us that microorganisms are adapted to the respective conditions prevailed over there or present over there. And when you see, there are many factors, but among them, there are 6 major factors which influences on growth of microorganisms. They are temperature, pH, water activity, oxygen, radiation, and atmospheric pressure. These are the 6 major factors which will influence on growth of an organism of a particular region to the another region. It's very simple. The microorganism which lives in poles will experiences very lesser temperatures, maybe minus to 0 degrees centigrade, minus to 0 degrees centigrade temperature. In those temperatures, this organism is adaptable to live and construct its cellular system and metabolic system and replicative system and everything. But when come close to the equator, the organism which lives up to 50 degrees centigrade temperature or 45 degrees centigrade temperature, yes, this organism is adaptable to live in these conditions. Now, fortunately or unfortunately, if you bring this organism which lives in the poles to the equator and the equator to the poles, will they live in the conditions over there? Certainly not. Certainly not. Because this organism always requires a temperature of 45 to 50 degrees centigrade. This organism always requires maybe 0 degrees, 4 degrees, 5 degrees centigrade temperature. With this, what we can say, temperature is one of the factors which affect on growth of a microorganism depending upon its evolution, distribution, and its occurrence in respective areas on the planet. With this, we can able to study different characteristics, different abilities. With that, we can extract variety of applications from the microorganisms. It is not only study of these factors influencing on its growth, but which has a greatest application for our daily research purposes. Now we'll learn one by one. We'll talk about temperature now. Now, one of the factor which greatly influences on growth of bacteria is temperature. Temperature is one of the most important environmental factor influencing the growth and survival of the microorganism. Indeed, microorganisms are particularly susceptible because they are usually unicellular and their temperature varies with their external environment. Most important factor influencing and affecting of temperature upon growth is the temperature, because the enzymes are more sensitive. Enzymes are more sensitive. Enzymes are more sensitive. As the temperature rises, the rate of chemical reaction increases. This rate doubles, but every 10-degree rise in temperature. The metabolic activity or chemical reactions or enzymatic reactions which are usually takes place in this cell, they doubles when the temperature increases by 10 degree. Thus, cell should grow faster as the temperature is raised. However, there are maximum limits beyond which some temperature sensitive macromolecules are there, like proteins, nucleic acids, lipids. They become denatured and hence became non-functional. They became non-functional. There is also minimum temperature for growth below which the lipid membrane is not fluid enough to function properly. There must be fluidity maintained in the membrane, but when temperature lowers, the fluidity will be lost and membrane doesn't work. Because of these opposing temperature influences, the microbial growth fairly disturbed with the change in the temperature. So hence we can categorize microorganisms which are living in different temperature ranges. They are psychrophiles, they are sacrophiles, sacrotropes, mesophiles, thermophiles, and hyperthermophiles. I'll see what are sacrophiles. The microorganisms which grow well at 0 degrees centigrade and have an optimum growth of 15 degrees centigrade or lower the maximum around 20 degrees centigrade. Lower the around, almost lower the around 20 degrees centigrade. We call them as saprophytes. Example, some algae, Pseudomonas, Flavobacterium, Acrobacter, and alkaligenes. And these are often killed when exposed to room temperature. These are killed when exposed to room temperature. They are able to function at lower temperatures because their membrane contains a high proportion of unsaturated fatty acids. These molecules remain fluid at lower temperatures, whereas the membrane containing saturated fatty acids became non-functional. And we have psychrotrophs. These are sometimes referred to as facultative psychrotrophs. Sometimes we refer to as facultative psychrotrophs. They grow mostly on temperatures of 20 degrees centigrade, but are capable of slow growth at temperature down the 0 degree centigrade. And these are the organisms responsible for spoilage of refrigerated foods. Refrigerated foods are spoiled because they live up to 0 to 20 degrees centigrade, and these are facultative psychrotrophs. And we have mesophiles. Mesophiles are the organisms which lives between 20 to 45 degrees centigrade temperature, and they have the minimum temperature 15 degree into 20 degrees centigrade. Almost all human pathogens are mesophiles because their optimal temperature is 35 to 37 degrees centigrade. It is the room temperature of our human body. And expect that the fairly environment is 37 degrees, and a major group of microorganisms which are living on surfaces of the earth falls in the group of mesophiles. And you have another group of microorganisms, they are thermophiles. They have optimum temperature of 50 degrees centigrade, and they can maximum up to 55 degrees centigrade temperature they can live. So we have several algae, protozoa, fungal species, and especially the prokaryotes that are truly thermophilic. No eukaryotic is a high temperature. Only prokaryotes has the ability. And we have one more organism, hyperthermophiles. Especially they can grow up to 100 degrees centigrade. Hyperthermophiles. Pyrolobus fumari has an optimum temperature of 106 degrees centigrade. That is Pyrolobus fumari. These are mainly anaerobic sulfate reducers. Anaerobic sulfate reducers. And they are low requirements and thermolabile cofactors. And these thermophiles and hyperthermophiles flourish in many habitats, including they live in compost, self-heating haystacks, hot water lines. They live in hot water lines. and they have a potential industrial use in coal desulfurization. The application is coal desulfurization, metal leaching, and methane generation. And the production of commercial enzymes. And especially DNA polymerases and restriction endonucleases, which are used in recombinant DNA technology, rDNA technology, are isolated from hyperthermophiles. So exposure of non-thermophile to higher temperature normally causes damage to cytoplasmic membranes, breakdown of ribosomes, irreversible enzyme denaturation, and DNA strand breaks. This is the complication. We all know that every 10-degree rise in temperature, so chemical activities or enzymatic activities will be doubled. For example, this is the mesophyll lives in 37 degrees centigrade. When it exposes to almost all 47 degrees centigrade temperature, activities get doubled. Proteins denatures, DNA denatures, enzyme denatures, membrane will damage, and it leads to the breaks in the cell, and the microorganism will become non-functional. By understanding the environmental factor, temperature on microbial growth, we'll get ample knowledge, and so that we provide a specific temperature for the organism to grow and to study on it. And with that we can extract many applicative materials and enzymes and cofactors, and which are used for our research purposes. That's why temperature is one of the environmental factor which influence on the growth. And with this, we have come across different types of microorganisms with different temperature ranges are acknowledged. So another factor which influence on growth of microorganism is pH. This is negative logarithm of H plus ion concentration, negative logarithm of the H plus ion concentration, or we call it as acidity and alkalinity. Acidity and alkalinity. Like temperature, every microorganism has a optimum pH. Every microorganism is optimum pH. Acidophiles have their growth optimum between 1 to 5. 1 to 5.5 or almost all 6.5. And neutrophils maybe 5.5 to or 6.5 to 7. And we have 7 or up to 8. and you have alkalophiles. These are from 8 to 14. And you see where here you have extreme alkalophiles, you can see from about 10 up to here, and 10 to 14 you have extreme alkalophiles. Extreme alkalophiles. Most bacteria and protozoa are neutrophils, especially most bacteria and protozoa. These are neutrophils. Neutrophils. But fungi and algae, they vary. Fungi belongs to they are acidophils and algae are alkalophiles. The microorganisms grow over a wide range of pH. They are limit to their tolerance. As temperature impacts on its growth, same manner, the pH ranges are also impact on growth. It also impact on the growth is impacted. It has been suggested that those optional pH values for growth are other than pH 7 have unusual mechanism for maintaining many of their proteins in this singly ionized form. The ability of alkophilic and acidophilic organism to withstand pH extreme undoubtedly also reflect the intrinsic stability of some or all other proteins in unusual pH environments. Changes in the external pH also might affect the ionization of nutrient molecules and thus reduce their ability to the organism. Microorganisms frequently change the pH of their own habitat by releasing acidic and basic metabolic waste. Fermentative microorganisms form organic acids from carbohydrates, while chemolithotrophs like Thiobacillus oxidize and reduce sulfur components to sulfuric acid. And other microorganisms make their environment more alkaline by generating ammonia through amino acid degradation. Buffers are often included in the media to prevent growth inhibition by large pH changes. Phosphate is commonly used for the buffer, and peptides and amino acid in a complex media also have a strong buffering effect. Purely, it is an hydrogen ion concentration. Change in hydrogen ion concentration brings change in strength of amino acids, which in turn influence on proteins. Hence, acidophils, neutrophils, alkophils, they are very strict enough to grow in respective environments, and also to sustain them in environments accordingly they produce above said components. It's very important for us to know about a bacteria or a microorganism which belongs to different pH ranges. If we grow a neutrophil in acidophilic region, if you grow a neutrophil in alkophilic regions, they cannot grow and they cannot sustain, and we won't get the growth. So as I said earlier, it's an adaptation. The organism from the evolution was adapted to the conditions over there. Hence, there are many organisms adapted to the conditions present. Some of the soils are acidic, some of the soils are basic, some of the soils are neutral. In spite, you have different microorganisms performing vital activities in bioconversion of the soils. That's why pH is one of the environmental factor which influences on growth of microorganism. And next one is solute and water activity. Solute and water activity. Most microorganisms contain almost 70 to 80% of water, and they require certain amount of free water for the performance of specific metabolic activities. When microbial cell with rigid cell wall are placed in hypertonic solution, they take up water to become turgid, whereas those without walls swell and ultimately burst. We know well that isotonic, hypertonic, hypotonic depends upon the concentration, the movement of the water takes place. Thick rigid wall, when placed in a hypotonic solution, they take up water and become turgid. But whether it is if it is not a rigid, what happens? The water comes inside and cell will burst. So here the thickness of the cell wall matters. In dry or hypertonic environment, water uptake and retention is a problem. Hypertonic environments may contain considerable amount of water, but it is not necessarily available. In fact, the high external level of solutes such as salt and sugars causes water to pass out of the cell and growth is halted. So we know that salt and sugar. Mainly the salt and sugars are mainly used in food industry as a preservatives. Why? If any material is added with salt and sugar, they turn to hypertonic. When it is hypertonic, if any bacteria or any microorganism present in this particular solution, if this is a hypertonic solution, then the water present in the bacteria will come outside and solutes go in and the bacteria gets shrinks. The bacteria is like this. If it placed in a hypertonic solution, it shrinks like this because the water will come out because of hypertonicity and the organism will die. So that's why in most of the food industry and food additives, we use salt and sugar as a preservatives. We have sugar soups and salt pickles. The actual water availability to microorganism is indicated by the term of water activity. Especially we measure like this, water activity. Water activity is equal to solution by water activity of water. Means the ratio of vapor pressure of the water in solution surrounding the microorganism. Pure water always has 1. The water activity is always 1. The microbial species vary in their tolerance to dry conditions and environment of high osmotic strength. Most bacteria, with few exceptions, cannot grow below water activity 0.9. They cannot grow below 0.9, which can provide a valuable information about food preservation, as I said now. Many fungi that cause bacterial deterioration of stored grains, they have a water activity 0.7 because they live in dried objects, including Aspergillus rusticus and zero-tolerant osmophilic and Zygosaccharomyces roxy. They have evolved mechanism to colonize environment where water activity almost all 0.6 means lesser than 1. Some of these species may not grow under conditions of water availability. And we know that marine bacteria optimally adapted to the salt concentration. We see the marine environments, it is a salted water. And the salted water, the water activity of the oceans and sea is 0.98. And they have special systems, special enzymes which are required for the sodium ions. True halophiles, for example, Halobacterium halobium, Halobacterium halobium is a halophile. Halophile which resists the high salt concentrations. Found in areas such as Dead Sea, we know that Dead Sea, and salt lakes. Will not grow in salt concentration almost 3 moles per ml. So they have highly modified cell walls and unusual membrane lipids. And now these osmophilic and xerophilic and halophilic organisms accumulate compensating solutes which balance their osmotic strength of the external solutes, and they are going to live. Hence, we have the microorganisms, osmophiles, and you have xerophiles, and you have halophiles. Can come across with different. See, that's why most of the fungi they grow on dried objects with a less amount of water. See, the application is by knowing about the hypertonic and hypotonic. Yeah, we have started using salt and sugars as a preservatives. When you increase the solute concentration in a food material, which removes the water content and which stop the growth of microorganisms, which is a major application in the food industry for storing and preserving the food materials. That's why water activity is one of the important effect which influences on growth of the microorganism. We have 3 more factors which influence on the growth of the bacteria or microorganism. We'll discuss them in next class. Thank you.